Welcome to Josh's House of Nerd podcast.
Hello, Nerd Nation. I'm Josh, and I welcome you to the podcast. Grab a cold evergreen goblet of blue milk and make yourself comfortable here at my House of Nerd. In this podcast, we are on the topic for the month, which is sequels that you liked better than the original, given to us by me, Josh. Tonight's movie is John's pick, the 2016 psychological horror movie directed by Dan Trachtenberg, in his directorial debut, and is a spiritual successor of the movie Cloverfield, which made, in this movie, it made $110 million on a $15 million budget. Starring John Goodman, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, and John Gallagher. This movie tells the story of a woman that is in a crash and finds herself locked in a bunker by the character Howard, played by John Goodman, who tells her that the world is under attack and they have to stay in a bunker. As always, joining me on the podcast is John and Crit. Hello, my friends. Let's talk about that movie. What did you guys think about it?
What did you think about it?
What did I think about it? I like this movie a lot, actually. I've liked it for the first time. I hate the original. Matter of fact, it's one of my least favorite movies of all time. Sucker Punch is still the worst, but which that hasn't come up in this podcast for a while. But Cloverfield, I've just kind of detested for a long time. I just, there's so many things I didn't like it. So when I went into this movie originally, I was kind of expecting a similar train wreck, in my opinion, and I was very, very happy that it wasn't. And I came out of this movie very satisfied with the premise of it, with the ending that happened, and how they kind of tied it into the Cloverfield universe. So I'm a big fan of this movie, and I have been from the very beginning. I think it has absolutely good tension, lots of good horror aspects to it. Excuse me. So I think this movie has a lot good going for it. And honestly, I love John Goodman. John Goodman is one of my favorite actors and has been one of my favorite actors since his Roseanne days. So that kind of is an overview, maybe a little bit of kind of my feelings of this particular movie. And this is probably the third time I've seen this movie. It's one of those ones I watched on TBS every once in a while, or cable, that when it would come on. So, what'd you guys think? What are your guys' kind of initial feelings on this? Because this was your pick, John.
Yeah, I'm always a fan of John Goodman's work. I think that's
so good.
what kind of got me into the theater to watch this in the first place, because I was in that same boat of like Cloverfield was like, okay, like it wasn't a film I absolutely hated, but because I'm a sucker for found footage films, but the fact John Goodman was in it and Mary Elizabeth Winstead, and this was or Winstead, I don't know if I think it's Winstead. Anyways, I've always loved her since she was in Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Oh yeah. Oh,
so I was like, oh, this seems like a good cast. We'll give it a shot, and was really, really happy. And again, I think John Goodman stole most of the show, as he does. I've been watching the Righteous Gemstones recently, and same kind of thing where John Goodman is just such a dynamic presence in a show, in a movie. Like the scenes just, I don't know, revolve around him's the wrong word, because it sounds like no matter what, he's always taking the spotlight, and that's definitely not true. But I think he's a powerhouse, and he brings that to this film in the best way.
Oh, without a doubt. What a doubt. I think he is a powerhouse. John, he's just, I think I like almost everything. Well, I can't go everything. There's a few movies I don't like with John Goodman, but John Goodman's always good in them.
Well, and then this movie in and of itself was excellent, because it kept for me, it kind of keeps you guessing through the film, like of, I love the ending, and again, this is all spoilers, but again, it's the, is he a crazy person and she's stuck with a crazy person? Oh, he's telling him the world's ended. Okay, they have that little scene where some lady runs to the door and like melts, and like, oh, man, the crazy guy was right, so he's not that crazy. And then he becomes more crazy. And you're like, wait, it's both. He's a murderer and the world's ending. Like, this is really sucks for her.
Yeah, I mean, he really that's the crazy part about this movie and how he comes across. Like, he almost comes across mental in spots and but so solid and like in the moment, like sane at other moments and stuff. And that's, I'll be honest with you, I was still almost guessing at the end of his character of, is he a murderer? Who's this person he keeps talking about? Is that really his daughter, or is it someone he like captured? Or, I mean, to the very end, still I was going, even after he killed what's his face, was like, okay, is he just extremely eccentric? I can't say the dang word tonight. Or is he just full on bonkers and stuff, or a little bit of both? And I'm going with now I've seen it multiple times, a little bit of both and stuff, and that it's a real platform he's going on mixed with his bonkers situation, with bonkers mindset of, especially when he's brought up Martians at the very beginning. But that's it. And even still now, I'm guessing a little bit like, did he mean well? Was he really joking? Did she really, even though he killed that one guy, was he still like, in
No,
his mind protecting?
I'm pretty sure he was. No, I'm pretty sure he was kind of, he lost it. I think it came to me pretty clearly when they're playing, what was it, charades, and he couldn't like make the connection that she was a woman. He kept thinking girl or stuff like that.
Princess.
I'm like, okay, or
Yeah.
princess. I'm like, okay, yeah, no, this guy is definitely off. Like, this is not good. This is not a good situation. So that scene for me kind of sealed the deal with like, nope, this is not a good person.
That's interesting you bring that up, because I guess I didn't really key into that part, but now that you're bringing that up, I see that gives him his kind of image of her, that it will always be of a little girl that he has to watch over. And that's why he had all of those kind of knee-jerk moments of like when she touched that other guy's hand, like they were flirting, and he like just freaked out on both of them, because he thought of, he's going for my daughter type scenario, or a little girl.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys have more wholesome view of him than I did in this film. Because from the beginning, he's an absolute creep, and then throughout the entire thing, he's a controlling. The only reason there's even another guy in that bunker, so my impression of him, his character, is he ran her off the road because he saw she was a young woman, and he needed a young woman for his bunker. That he's a pure Doom's prepper.
Mm-hmm.
He just happened to be right, but he was never going to be right. And he's not finding a daughter. He's found someone that he wants to cage and keep for his own, ends and stuff like that. I never got the impression that he was wholesome in any real way. Like, he just had too many interactions that were not just eccentric, but actually toxic. And it was, and that's why I like the character. I like the way John Goodman plays it and everything else like that. But I never got the impression. I was never thrown off on it.
Wholesome. I thought he was bonkers, but I kind of questioned myself a few times, like maybe he was another direction. But I know what you're saying is it's because I questioned even for a second that maybe he really wasn't this way. Whereas you're saying, no, the whole time I was all in on that.
Yeah,
he is a psycho hose beast, man.
He was the monster of this story from the beginning, in my opinion. And actually, it's one of the things that makes me kind of like not like this movie as much.
Okay,
which is, it's two movies, and the first movie is great, acting, tension, setup, but it's a short story. It doesn't have a whole lot of legs to it. Whereas in the second part of the movie, when she breaks out and the aliens and stuff like that, that feels tacked on to me. It feels like it's an extra thing that was added. I swear, this time I watched it,
and what?
I thought I saw some things that were done in post, where like earlier in the movie they were like, oh yeah, we should mention this, because it's like when he says certain things, he's off screen so they can just ADR it in. And I'm like, this is two movies. This has to be two movies that were kind of smashed together.
You know what, Chris? I was reading the making of this, and it's exactly what you just said. It's exactly what you just said. It was a movie it was a film or a short story they bought off of Paramount bought called The Cellar. And as Paramount was looking at it, they're like, this has a lot of like kind of movie beats, a lot of similarities to Cloverfield, but it wasn't Cloverfield. And then the whole time that they were filming this movie, they had no idea this was going to be a Cloverfield movie. They had zero fact. They just thought it was this crazy man story about, this guy, this prepper.
And well, good. That actually makes me feel a little better about it, because this movie keeps throwing me off every time I see it. And I'm like, there's something wrong here with the screenplay, and I can't figure out what it is.
It should have ended the minute she escaped and saw that there was really aliens. Like, that should have been it. Like, there should not have been a long, setup afterwards. It should be, no, by the way, he was a murderer and there's aliens and good luck type.
Yeah,
and just call it.
I didn't even know it was called 10 Cloverfield Lane until I think it says in the Wikipedia, a week before the movie was released, or 2 weeks before the movie released, and the name by J.J. Abrams was finalized because he had been so busy doing The Force Awakens that he finally was able to finalize the name of the movie. And then she went, "Oh, it's a Cloverfield movie." Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. This movie did not need to be about aliens. Like, all of the good parts of this movie for me were in the bunker with the characters.
Uh-huh.
Everything outside of it, I didn't need. I just didn't need it.
Yeah, I would highly agree with you, Crit.
It's a master class intention.
And my eyes almost rolled out of my head when the sign at the end of the movie says Cloverfield, Lane on it. I'm like, it didn't need to be. None of this needs to be there. So unsubtle and just ugh.
That felt very inserted too. I mean, I thought to myself too. It's like, well, that's funny how they inserted that and made it look like it was in the same spot, which it wasn't.
Yeah, it's just that's what the whole thing feels like. It's when you're watching a movie and then suddenly there's just like this one section that's like bad CGI and kind of takes you out of the movie, and you're like, okay, that was weird. And then it goes back to the movie and you're like, okay, I'm gonna try to forget about that. Like, there was so much of that in this show that just kind of brings it down for me, because it walks away from, kind of the best parts of the movie right at the climax. Mm-hmm. And then tries to have another climax with the whole chase with the aliens and stuff like that. And it just feels unnecessary. Like, I'd rather have them be two separate movies. I think the problem might be that maybe the first version just, it feels like a short
long enough runtime.
Yeah, it feels like a short film. It feels like a really well put together and paced short film. But then, like, they were just like, oh, well, no, actually, we're going to make, and that's the whole thing. Oh, the other thing too, it just hit me. They're setting her up to be like, I don't know, Ripley in where she's like headed off to Houston to go fight the aliens and stuff like that. And it's like, she's all determined. They take a photo of her, pick a close up of her face, and she's determined, and she turns towards Houston.
And it's
then and I'm like, well, I mean, they weren't going to do anything with it. It was never going to.
No, because then they came out with Cloverfield Paradox, which was just like, it
was even worse. Yeah.
Yeah. Chris O'Dowd was the only redeeming feature of that one.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I don't know. This movie feels like when you're ramping up in it and everything's getting put together, and the way they're playing it, and they're, she's actively trying to get away. She's making, she's not just a damsel in distress. Like, it's not highly sophisticated, or it isn't really makes you guess that much, I think, but it's just well executed. And then it just turns into something different, and you can just feel the parts that are kind of just molded onto it. And it doesn't feel like it's a cohesive whole because of it. Like, the ending just brought it down for me.
Do you agree with John? And I kind of do agree with John with what he said. Well, I think it might've been a better movie if it was basically, you actually didn't know 100% if once it like ends, like almost like as she's walking out that door, and it's like, oh, now I actually don't know if it was, something going on in the world, or if it really was okay. It's just her walking out into the world. I think it would almost been better to leave that a cliffhanger.
I mean, people wouldn't have liked it because people like closure, and they want to know if it was actually, a thing or not. I don't know. I would love to know if the original screenplay had an ending, and what its ending was that Paramount bought. Because right now it's like, okay, you know, it feels like the aliens wouldn't have been the thing.
I don't think aliens were a thing at all in the original script.
Yeah, it feels like it wouldn't have been. It isn't necessary.
Here's what it says about that. Weinstein and Gallagher mentioned that during the production, they were aware that the film had thematic similarities to Cloverfield, but did not learn that there would be an official connection until they were informed of the chosen title only a few days before the release of the trailer and stuff. I'm just like, oh my goodness. It's just absolutely, it's bonkers that they did this. I mean, it feels very forced. Like they just saw like, well, it could have this ending and it totally ties in, because they've been trying to do with this Cloverfield thing, like this kind of like, I remember when they first did the first Cloverfield, you never saw the monster, which always kind of bugged me a little bit, that you really didn't see the monster at all until the very end. And it was just really,
it's just
quick.
It's just JJ,
and it's all been about that. Yeah,
it's JJ's just doing his usual like I'm Spielberg thing. He's like, oh, Jaws didn't show it till much later, so we're gonna do the same thing with a kaiju or a Godzilla like movie, except we're gonna do found footage. It's like just mash these ideas up, and it's like, okay, found footage, but it's Jaws, but it's also Godzilla, and it's like, okay, that's the first movie, and the first movie was, it is what it is. It's just a curiosity. It's like, okay, what would that look like? All right, that's kind of intellectually interesting. I'm not like running back to see that movie any once in a while. It didn't change cinema.
It's not like this really, really horrible thing. It's not like this really, really good thing. It's just this middle of the road mashup of like, okay, I guess that's that.
What if this and then this? And it's like, okay, that's fair. I don't really want to throw any shade at it. At least they tried something interesting. This one, it just feels so interfered with, and it's unsatisfying to me. Like the movie, the end of the movie is just like, this isn't the same movie that we were watching previously, and not in a good way. It didn't morph in a good way to me.
I wonder if the only reason they wanted to do the 10 Cloverfield Lane was so that you could use the tagline they did, which was "Monsters come in many forms." They're like, yeah, what do we need to make that tagline work?
It's such a stretch. Oh, the monsters were the humans all along. It's like, come on.
But yet they're still monsters.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't. It's such a weird movie to watch for me. But I don't want to take it away. Like if you enjoyed the movie, that's totally cool. Just for me, it's just like it's like a great great cake, but with way too much frosting on it. So you're just like, this doesn't.
I'm in the same wish it boat.
Would just less.
I'm in the same boat, because what I remembered of the movie before watching it again was not the parts with the aliens in at the end.
Right.
What I always remembered was like the guy getting shot in the head near the vat of acid, like the whole tension and drama in there. Like that's what I remembered, not the alien part. And I think that's indicative.
I'm right there with you, actually.
Of like, because I when I rewatched it, I was like, wow, this alien part's really long. I didn't think it was this long.
Yeah, there was like 30 minutes of the movie left when John Goodman dies. It's
funny you say that. I thought the same thing. It's like the ending was too long as well, John. I felt like I didn't remember it being that long either.
Yeah, I thought it was literally she walked outside, figured out there's aliens, and that was the end of the movie. But nope. There's 30 minutes where they filled it hard. And then how long? What's the running time on this, anyways?
That's because they felt like they had to pay off the Cloverfield name and stuff. Again, they could have just left it alone.
Well, and I think that in running time too, because this was where the crap is the running time?
It's like an hour 30 or something like that. It's not.
Yeah, it's not very long. Hour and 43 minutes. So they could have ended it. I mean, it just would have been a shorter film, but
there's all the time. There's movies at 110 running time.
Yeah,
I mean that's not unusual at all, actually. You know. But they could have, and it would have been a better. I think it would have been a better. I don't know. I don't know if it would have been better, but it would. I don't know. It might have been a little bit more satisfying because again, I didn't feel that satisfied also with the aliens. I mean, they could have stopped and been at the very end. I'm also, I have a tendency to kind of, depending on the movie, like it with a vague ending sometimes. And this one, I don't know, I'm leaning more towards, I might have liked a little bit more vague of an ending, but, or even if they just outright came out and went, all right, the world got bombed or something like that. And then it was just done. And they didn't go into the whole ending part of it that just felt like it drug on for a while. And then that whole ending, I'll just attack that one a little bit more too. The whole thing of the Molotov cocktails, that one thing of what one person, and I've seen it's in a couple other alien movies. It's like nobody can beat this thing. And then all of a sudden it gets beaten by like one small like person
or
that like
water.
Yeah.
In the case of War of the Worlds. Oh no. They're allergic to water.
No, that was Signs.
Oh, that was Signs.
Yeah. No, War of the Worlds has always been disease, but
oh yeah.
No, water in freaking Signs.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Which I love Signs. It's just that was
but
like
it's such an overplayed trope. It's such like the whole A Quiet Place with the sound. Like these things hunt by sound, and we never thought to fight them with sound. I guess that never happened. All of the acoustic warfare tech and acoustic crowd control tech we have, nobody thought to use it on a beast that was super sensitive to sound. Nope.
You want to talk? Nope. I mean, I love that movie. I really do. But like, if I start really thinking about it hard, that stuff starts bugging me. Like, she blows that one away with a shotgun. Really? An entire army couldn't blow these guys away and stuff. That guy clearly died with a shotgun. Anyways, we're going off topic. That's okay.
That's okay.
Because it's similar tropes. It's a
similar trope. Yeah. It's when it's convenient, the aliens will die. Type deal.
Right. And that's the part that kind of bugged me. It's like, oh, just a random, she had a bottle of whiskey in there and a lighter and some paper, and she was able to make a Molotov cocktail, and she took down this humongous alien ship. Yes, good job. That almost reminded me of Independence Day and him driving the ship directly up into the bunghole.
Hey, whoa. Don't you dare touch Independence Day.
It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
That film. I mean, they explained it really well.
They did.
We got our tech from them, so our computer viruses could still affect them. I mean, come on, Josh. They laid it all out.
John, I apologize for attacking Independence Day. It is one of my favorite movies too. I will know not to attack that one again.
You can attack the second one. The second one was garbage.
Total garbage. I've watched it twice.
Brent Spiner and Jeff Goldblum were the only redeeming features of that one.
Oh yeah, and just barely.
I probably not redeeming feature. Made it bearable.
Bearable.
Yeah. There we go.
There you go. But I just hate that trope of the last second, nobody else can take it down, and it gets taken down by something totally dumb.
Yeah.
And stuff. And it's like, no, she knows how to win the planets, type thing. Take them all. Like, okay, go back to Independence Day. All right, we know what to do. Take them all down.
She gets on a Morse code.
Yeah, get them all going on. Anyway. Yeah. I could just see that scene in Independence Day. Anyway,
well, that scene has been made fun of so many times for good reason. I mean, we know how to defeat them now, and go to this like 1920s tech. Not even 1920s. Like this is the 1800s right there.
Yeah, like late 1800s. Yeah,
crazy, but. And to be honest, that's kind of all I have, because I mean we hit on John Goodman, we hit on the fact it's two different movies, and I think the tension in the first movie is fantastic, and then they just interfere with it too much, and it loses I think it could have
loses its core.
Better. Yeah.
Do you think this? I wanted to talk about this because this the director a little bit before we kind of sign off on this. This was his first, like I said in the opening, his debut movie. And he did one other movie, actually. He's only done one other major kind of movie. It was a streaming movie. He did Prey and stuff like that. And my question
to you is... Prey was actually decent. Like I didn't.
Decent.
I liked Prey quite a bit.
So did I, and stuff like that. I think overall he did a very good effort. I think Prey, he did a very good effort. I think, and then going back to what Chris said, is I think he was meddled with a little bit.
He also actually directed my favorite Black Mirror episode as well.
I was just going to comment. He did a Black Mirror episode, and he did a couple episodes of The Boys.
Yeah, the Black Mirror episode is the playtest one where the guys goes in to test this horror video game, and it is by far my favorite Black Mirror episode.
I have not seen that one. It sounds like
you should. It's really good. To me, it was actually pretty dang terrifying.
It was good. I hated it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. It's like I don't know that I'd watch it again, but good for you.
It was so good. It was good, but you hated it. That's all.
It was very well done. The horror was very visceral.
And yes.
Oh, one of those. Okay.
Well, and not visceral in the. At least it wasn't like hostile level of like.
No.
Oh, good, because
like gut wrenching,
not vicious.
Yeah.
Just
visceral.
It was just really hitting on some core fears.
Yes, and it did a fantastic job with it. Like you really should watch it and then never watch it again.
Wow, sounds like I need to see this on a day.
Well, you can come over and watch it.
Okay.
I'll stay upstairs while you watch it downstairs.
Oh, gee, thanks. Well, I mean, you know me, John. I don't get scared at all or freaked out really at all. And if you think this could get to me, then bully to you, because not much gets to me anymore. And if you truly find something, man,
you should give it a shot.
I'll get a shot and I'll report back.
This looks like season 3 episode. Yeah, season 3 episode 2. It's called Playtest.
Okay, I will report back to you if I liked Playtest.
Good
and stuff. Yes, thank you for telling me that. But yeah, I really thought that we should bring up Trachtenberg because I thought this was a good effort for a kind of a debut movie, even though it looks like it's kind of appears it was meddled with a little bit by Bad Robot and J.J. Abrams, being the producing.
I mean, maybe
company.
Maybe that's the deal. It's like, oh, you can direct this, but we need to do a tie-in with it.
Mm-hmm. So. I think I liked Prey more than I liked 10 Cloverfield Lane, just because of 10 Cloverfield Lane's ending.
Well, Prey's more cohesive.
Yeah, very much more cohesive. It's a single story.
Yeah.
Again, take out the ending. If you were to just rate this, would you if you just took off the ending, would you think better of this movie?
Yes.
Like just totally take it off.
For sure. Take the sci-fi stuff out of it. I think it's a really great thriller.
Yeah, I agree with you. I fully agree with you so much. Yeah, okay. I agree with that. And my rating kind of reflects exactly what we're talking about here. Because of that there was so many good things that were going on. Should we move on to ratings? Did anybody else have any things they wanted to bring up?
No, I'm good.
Correct. Did you have anything else you were on? Okay. My rating kind of reflects this, that I thought this was a really good movie, but I didn't want to go too high on it. And more of the rating comes out because of I really liked the acting. I thought that was just solid as all heck. And the part in the cellar was just solid and intense as all heck. So I gave it a 7. I don't own this movie, and I'm not sure if I ever want to own this movie, but it's kind of one of those maybes. If I found it cheap enough, because I'm not sure if I could watch it too many more times, even though I have enjoyed the 3 times that I have seen it. So anyways,
I'd watch it with my mom, but if I watch it again, I'll just stop it before, right when she leaves. Be like, oh, that's good. That's the end of the movie.
Yeah, what'd you guys think? Don't even have to pretend it's anything else. What'd you think, Crit?
I give it a 5 out of 10. The ending just kind of brings it down, and I have to judge the whole thing, not just the parts I like and try to ignore it, just because it's like this is what they chose to do. They chose to put it out with it. They wanted to try to do this tie-in. They wanted to do the alien ecosystem somehow, and like it's just I don't know. This is one of those decisions that could raise the score if they had come out with another movie that actually extended the realm. If they did an Alien, then Aliens, that's really bad idea, because Alien is a classic on its own, and then Aliens just mixes it up into a different genre. That can work, but they're two separate movies. So each movie independently has its own idea and theme and appeal. Whereas in this movie, it's like, the last third is it just doesn't work for me. So yeah, 5 out of 10.
Fair enough. I can definitely see where you're coming with that. I almost went down to a 6, but I was like, I really like the acting a little bit. That's really definitely brought me up a little bit.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think this is a good movie, though.
Yep.
Overall, I recommend it. I personally would recommend anybody who hasn't seen it to see it, even though, we do have some feelings about things that we don't like about it. It's definitely a watch it once type movie and see what you think, in my opinion. So, all right, let's get to the next thing. Crit, you have the next picks for the next podcast.
Yep.
You want to lay it on us, and then John will tell us what his topic for the next month is going forward.
Sounds good. Okay.
Thank you.
Number 1.
Yeah.
Desert Power. Number 2. Your Past Doesn't Matter. And number 3. Awesome Grimm's Tales.
Oh, I like number 3.
So did I. I knew you were going to say it too, John.
Let's go with number 3 then.
Though the first one feels a lot like a Dune or something like that, or like a Mad Max or something.
Knowing Crit, it's a play off of it or something. Not
the first one feels like Mad Max, Fury Road or something like that.
All right.
Anyways, go ahead.
Picking number 3.
Yep.
Number 1, Desert Power is The Road Warrior.
Oh, I was close. Close. That's a great movie. Yeah. Oh, awesome.
Number 2, Your Past Doesn't Matter is The Last Jedi.
Oh, nice. Oh, man. We talked about that in the last one. Okay. Anyways, that would have been a good one to talk about. Dang.
Could have gotten all the ideas out. And your pick for number 3, Awesome Grimm's Tales, is Hellboy 2.
Oh.
Baited you into that one.
The Golden Army.
Yep.
The Golden Army. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna withhold my. I almost said a few things, but I'm gonna withhold. We want to wait for the podcast. Okay, I'm excited for this one. Okay, this will be cool. I was a little unsure about this topic, but I'm actually kind of enjoying it. Thank you, Crit. Let's Hellboy, Golden Army. All right, bring it on. And John, what do you got for us for a topic for the following month?
The topic for the following month is reboots.
Oh, that's
reboots.
That's a rough one. Not really.
We have enough to take. We have a lot to pick from, I think. So
I actually really kind of am excited about this one. Reboots. That's one I hadn't thought of before. Good. That'll be a good one.
And we'll be fairly liberal with our definition of a reboot. There's some soft reboots out there that I'll accept too. I'm not gonna be super picky with it.
Yeah. You're not gonna be a dick about it. Good.
But yeah, reboots. That's what
reboots it is. All right. And then we got Hellboy. All right. I'm liking this. Next time is Hellboy. All right. Well, guys, I really enjoyed this conversation. I actually enjoyed the movie. I can't always say that. And to everybody out there listening, thank you for supporting our channel. And as always, may you be excellent to each other and live long and prosper from all of us here at Josh's House of Nerd. You have a good night. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. For more nerdy awesomeness, please like and subscribe and check out our other nerdy videos.